Oh, Legacy Boxing Showcase, sponsored by Legacy Boxing Promotions, Pettis Collision, Ed Nunez, along with Austin Killeen. And Austin, we've been off for a few weeks. You had a daughter to visit, and we waited. You know, you missed a lot, or it seems like we've missed a lot, but first things first, you know, I wanted to mention again the passing away of a boxing icon in town, Tom Pops Grigo. You know, on the show, Mike on the Mic, with Mike Adams on Saturday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Just tributes and accolades galore. You wrote a great column in Colleen's Corner. Great memories on the show on Saturday. Fidel Maldonado Sr., Manuel Anaya, Pat Holmes, boxing who's who. Mike Adams, Michael Frankel also in the studio. And just, we had Pop's son, Keith, his daughter-in-law, Anita, his grandson, Connor, were in studio with us to share memories of Tom Grigo. So, you know, your own response in your own article, I thought was beautiful. This guy meant so much to so many people.
It's amazing. When I interviewed him just 5 months ago, ironically, he used it like a confessional. And many of the personal things he told me, I didn't even put in my original article. But like many of our servicemen who come home from combat, he had seen a lot of combat, and it left them their scars. And he went off the rails basically for about 15 years. He gave his family money, but that's all he gave them. He just emotionally was tuned out. And fortunately, people around who saw the good in him and got him back online. He got involved with AA and support groups and, you know, the 12-step program. And then the last 25 years of his life, he asked his own kids for forgiveness. And he met a woman who changed his life around. And he's in the boxing community itself. He's always been a fight fan. But he always noticed that these fighters would make millions and millions of dollars and they'd wind up broke. So he tried to reach out to the young fighters and sponsor them. But he wanted no recognition for any of this. But you'd always see him at the fights. For our Hall of Fame dinners, he'd buy tables, not just a table, and just hand out tickets to everybody. And of course, he became a very successful businessman, Grigo Roofing. Mm-hmm. So it's amazing what he did when he finally climbed out of his
abyss.
abyss.
He was a medic in Vietnam as well. You wrote that story, and just the effect he had on people at the end of his life. You know, you can't replace him with 20,000 people. You know, I mean, and you know, if he was here, he wouldn't even want to be here. He wouldn't want you to even say it. He wouldn't even acknowledge that you said it. He doesn't want any fan. You mentioned he did it without fanfare, without any. You know, he didn't want any credit. He didn't want anybody talking about Pops Grigo. He wanted to focus on, we've got Fidel Maldonado Jr. in studio with us. He'll join us on the next segment. He wanted to focus on Diamond Boy Griego. He called in on Saturday. And so boxing who's who on Saturday, and it was great to share those memories.
He, in our interview, he said, listen, I wasn't John Wayne. Fate put me into a horrible situation. And he said, I was as scared as anybody. And he talked in the, when he got to Vietnam, when he got off the helicopter, this guy that got off next to him got shot in the butt. And that's his reality, that combat. That was the very first thing. And he says, that could have been me.
I think that was part of your story. I think you wrote that part of your story. So again, just an angel of a man. So rest in peace, Pops Grigo. And again, Mike Adams, great job on Saturday facilitating that show. Adrian Broner and Manny Pacquiao on Saturday. I know we wanted to talk about that. Pacquiao at 40 years old, unanimous decision over the 29-year-old Broner. I know you saw the fight. I saw some of it. I saw about 6 rounds, as much as I could get from this stream that I got, kept interrupting, starting, stopping. But what I saw was enough. Pacquiao all over the big mouth Broner. And I say that because Broner, to me, has always been a wannabe Floyd Mayweather. Talented guy, right? But delusional, even after the fight, telling Jim Gray, yes, I won. What is everybody watching? I'll beat you. On and on. So anyway, go ahead. Your opinions of that fight.
First of all, the announcers, why didn't they say what everybody who has eyes could see? He was doing nothing, and they were trying to make it sound like the fight could be competitive. He was a disgrace. I don't even know why they put him on there. We have a Josh Pitbull Torres, a welterweight right here in Albuquerque, who's reinvented himself in the last year. he would have been a far more worthy opponent, and he would have fought for a lot less money than Broner. And he wouldn't have been throwing F-bombs out of his mouth every other sentence.
Well, you know, I think Adrian Broner remained true even in defeat to who he is. You know, he's not been the same really since Marcos Maidana chased him out of the ring 4 years ago and they didn't stop for the interview. But even after that, now Floyd Mayweather can sit and talk and say, I'm the best ever, right? There might be some dispute to that. I'm not a Mayweather fan at all, but I would be remiss to say he's not one of the best defensive boxers that I've ever seen. There's no doubt. Did he have someone to take him into deep waters like Ali Frazier, Leonard Duran, LaMotta Robinson? No, he didn't. But does that make him less great? To him, he thinks he's the greatest. I don't. But that doesn't mean he's not great and can't say the things that he does. Broner is not.
Well, you said it beautiful. You can't control the era that you fought in. You know, if you were a young man, it would have been 20 years ago, and you were a heavyweight fighter. But you couldn't have fought John L. Sullivan, Joe Louis, because you didn't.
Jack Johnson.
Yeah, you weren't in their eras. So you said it beautiful about Floyd. He fought everybody in his era.
He did.
And you can't take that away from him.
No, you can't. I mean, you're right, and he can say those things. I got to ask you this. We got about a minute left in this segment. What's next, in your opinion, for Manny Pacquiao, who still showed he has a lot at 40 years old? What do you think's next for him?
I think they're moving towards a fight between him and Floyd. I really do. And you heard him ask him you didn't see the whole show. They asked Floyd, and Tracy was sitting off camera, and they put the camera on him. Shake your head, yes or no. And he wouldn't move his head. But Floyd's a master promoter. He's like P.T. Barnum.
They made $9 million for fighting the guy, you know, in Japan. He knocked that kid out in the first round. Yeah. And look, I'm just going to say this. I don't want to see that fight. That was one of the worst fights I saw, the first one. That fight there was supposed to be made in 2007, and it's way past its prime. So, you know, I look at it like Hearns Leonard, the second one, which was entertaining. You know, it was a draw. Everybody said Hearns won. Nobody wants to see that. I don't want to say, maybe I shouldn't say nobody. I just say me.
I agree with
but it was a terrible fight the first time. You know, it really was. And Pacquiao later claimed, you know, delusional a little bit himself, who I like Pacquiao. He thought he won the fight, and everybody knows he didn't come close. Said he had a shoulder injury. Supposedly that's injured. Who wants to see that fight? I can't think that anybody's going to pay, you know, Floyd Mayweather doesn't get in the ring unless it's 30, 40 million.
And he does, and people pay to see him. I have no interest in seeing Floyd Manny 2. It has no interest in me. As far as Saturday goes, Pacquiao came in shape, but it's hard to tell what he had because the other guy was a road runner. He just ran for his life for 12 rounds.
No, you know what? And he claimed, okay, so before the fight, now you remember, Broner's been in with Maidana, lost. Porter, lost. Mikey Garcia, lost. Pacquiao, lost. Anytime that he stepped up to superior competition, what's been the result?
Loss, humiliation.
So, yeah, that's what, you know what, look, I don't mind, you know, everybody takes losses in boxing, right? Everybody, even except Floyd, you know, he retired undefeated, but at least be, you know, just the stuff he was saying after the fight. I heard what he said. You know, everybody saw me beat that guy. So anyway, we'll have to save it for the next segment. We'll be back to Legacy Boxing Showcase after these messages.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms, and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rollins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
The Barley Room, proud sponsor of Proview Networks for over 9 years, is pleased to introduce Black Iron Catering. From weddings and family reunions to birthdays and office parties, Black Iron Catering is perfect for any event. Contact Jamie at 505-459-8259 and book your event today. Black Iron Catering. Let us bring our kitchen to you.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
The New Mexico High School Coaches Association, established in 1941, is an organization of New Mexico's best and most professional interscholastic coaches. Coaches across work daily to help our student athletes excel in the classroom, on the field of play, and in our communities. Students that participate in interscholastic activities attain higher grades, higher graduation rates, and higher wages. Responsible for the North-South All-Star Games, statewide Coaches Award Program, and providing multiple professional development opportunities for New Mexico's coaches. Be a great coach by coaching beyond the game.
Sadie's is a proud supporter of New Mexico high school sports and athletics, and we here at Proview Networks would like to thank Sadie's for their continued support in helping us bring you all of your New Mexico high school sports coverage.
Car Crafters, proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Are you sure we're supposed to be doing this?
Don't worry, I've watched him do it 1,000 times. Come on, what's the worst that can happen?
No! Bad dog!
Hi, welcome to Car Crafters. What happened? Don't worry, we'll make it like it never happened.
Car Crafters, it's like it never happened.
Duke City Sports Bar. Proud supporter of Proview Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. Catch all the sports action from high school, college, pros, and MMA on one of our 35 HD TVs. Start your night off right with any selection from our delicious menu prepared with fresh, never frozen ingredients. Duke City Sports Bar, Albuquerque's newest sports bar. Located on Eubank and Montgomery, dial 505-433-4020.
Welcome back to Legacy Boxing Showcase, sponsored by Legacy Boxing Promotions, Pettis Collision, Ed Nunez, along with Austin Colleen. In studio, it's our pleasure and honor to have Fidel Maldonado Jr. as our special guest. He'll fight Luis Avila, Holmes Productions, this Saturday, January 26th, Buffalo Thunder. Fidel, welcome to the show. It's always a pleasure to have you.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. Austin, I know you got some questions for Fidel Maldonado Jr.
Well, we go through it, but let's start with your early career. When did you first get into boxing? How old were you?
8 years old.
Wow. So it was like the pee-wee baseball only for boxing.
Yeah, kind of. Honestly, I was supposed to start playing baseball, and my dad told me to choose one or the other. I can't do both. And I chose boxing. And
well, in a way, I could see why you'd be a baseball player, because you're a good hitter. No pun intended.
Fidel, I'm going to ask you the same thing. You know, you've been in the ring for a long time. You fight Luis Avila on Saturday, and he fought Tone Martinez recently. Tough customer, according to Austin Colleen, and Austin Colleen knows New Mexico boxing as well as anybody. He's a puncher, veteran. Austin put it real good to me in the first segment: high risk, low reward. So, meaning, and I asked Austin, what do you mean by that? If you beat him, what's next for you? Now, if you lose, which you already said, you said right over there, when I win, if you lost, though, people would say, well, you lost to a bump. So high risk, low reward. What's your thoughts about that for Saturday night?
honestly, I don't really care about none of that. It's just, I'm not looking past no one. It's just this weekend, that's it. I'm not looking, I'm gonna go out there and destroy this kid. Like, I've had a lot happen in this camp. Not so much in training, like training's been great, but I lost my brother right here. We lost Pops. So it's been a tough camp, but we gotta live for them now and do this for them.
Our condolences, by the way.
Thank you.
Ray, your father was on the show with us on Saturday on the mic with Mike Adams, and I know Mike passed along condolences to your father, so yeah. We pass them along as well, sir.
Thank you.
So, I think, too, that can be a motivating, driving force. I know that. And how have you used that to, the passing of your brother, how have you used that to motivate you? I'm sure you were pretty close.
Oh, yeah, I was with him every day, and, it's real motivating. I watched a lot of motivational speeches, and I could die with him or live for him, and I'm gonna live for him. And Saturday, this guy ain't going the distance.
You've seen him. You know, you're aware of him. Any particular game plan without divulging your game plan? Anything that you're thinking of when you approach your approach with Luis Avila?
Honestly, the fight when he fought Tone, I didn't really pay attention. I watched like the first 2 rounds.
Tone Martinez.
Yeah, and I didn't really pay attention, so I couldn't really tell you how he fought or nothing. But my dad and my corner watched it, so they came up with a game plan and just going out there and being smart, using my skills instead of banging everything out like I always do. I get hit and end up banging, but I'm a whole different fighter. I took a year off, so not necessarily in the gym, but I just took a year off of fighting and just refocused, and I feel better than ever, honestly. Changed my diet, did everything.
Boston?
One caveat, when I was fighting, I became a father for the first time, so I dedicated my next fight to my new little boy. The first punch of the fight, I was on the floor, and that's the true story. The guy caught me with a hook, and so I had to get up and try to make a fight out of it. So be careful. It's nice that you're dedicating a fight for someone, but you got to concentrate on what's in the other corner. It's risky.
Oh, yeah, I already know that, but I'm not going to go in there and fight stupid, like I said.
Right.
I'm going to go out there and fight smart, but...
Now, in taking Avalon, he's actually a pretty good fighter. He's a good boxer, puncher. If you do turn out to be a little ring rusty on, I certainly know you're in shape. I saw you working last Saturday. But he's very capable of not only boxing somebody, but knocking him out. He has a lot of knockouts on his record, and he's pretty aggressive. So I think the fans can see a real good fight next Saturday night.
Oh, yeah, we're going to see Saturday, though. Like, the way he fought Tone, I'm not Tone. Like, Tone's a great fighter and all, but we're 2 completely different styles, and styles make fights. So we're going to see how our styles match up, and the thing is I could adjust and do all that stuff.
Well, Tone is a rugged fighter, and he bangs pretty good himself. And so this gave Avila a chance to show he was pretty good because he got trapped in the ropes. He took a couple of good shots from Tone, and he just held up under it and came back with his own fire. And he certainly had quick hands, and he had nice footwork the way he moved around the ring. And footwork really creates a lot of openings for any fighter. And and so he was pretty polished. So they're not giving you a cookie for your first comeback fight.
I don't expect it, you know, because we've had other offers, but my dad wanted me to get me on this card and do this. So, you know, I'm not looking past no one, like I said, but I'm 100% focused and ready to do this.
Well, you've had some, obviously your last win was a very good win on television, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
And I see that last week, I forget that he scored, Kato, but he scored a huge upset.
Yeah.
Knocked the guy out in 1 round who was
a pound-for-pound guy, yeah.
Right, and so that looks even better for you because you beat him convincingly. So,
yeah, that was a good one. I didn't watch it live, but I watched it after, and it kind of surprised me too, because the guy he fought, Jorge Linares, I thought it was going to be his in a get-out box, and he stopped him first round.
As a matter of fact, if it was anything, it seemed like a mismatch, and as it turned out, it was, but for the wrong person.
Yeah.
He used them to mop up the canvas.
Yeah.
So.
You know, Fidel, we talked about Tom Pops Krigo, your father, as we mentioned, called in the show on Saturday. And I want to ask you, and again, all the memories of that I've heard of him, I didn't know him near as well as you guys did. Beautiful man. Can you tell us a little bit about your own personal memories of Pops, because he's always around the boxing community? I mean, Diamond Boy called in, that call on Saturday, Matthew Diamond Boy Griego.
Yeah. And
I saw Alston's, Colleen's column in Colleen's Corner. And the recollections of this man almost made me dang tear up. And then his son's right in the studio, so was his grandson. Yeah. So we got to share some beautiful memories that I'll never forget. So talk about your own memories of Pops Krigo.
Pops was a great guy, always like uplifting, I guess. Like he was never in a bad mood, not that I seen. Never always hugged you. Would always yell, "Hey, Pops!" So it was cool, and we'd always go eat at Casa de Benavides. To me, that was one of his favorite spots. That's where we always ate, and he wouldn't let no one else pay, even if we tried. Like, because there's times that we tried to pay, and he'd sneak in before us and pay for it for us. And he's just a great dude, real giving. Always try to help everyone out, always, no matter what it was with. Always try to help you out, and he always said, "Gotta take everything one day at a time."
I think one of the things that his son said to me is that you have to be able to talk to the king of the castle and the person in the street the same way. And that was just incredible, man, to me. And one of the things his son Keith said, that on the way over here, all the things that his dad had told him for years. His son is 48. And his son said that when he was here almost landing in the sky, it hit him like that he understood what his dad meant. And that was beautiful, man. Some beautiful stuff. You don't see a selfless person like that, right? I mean, usually somebody wants something out of you.
Yeah.
And it made me laugh, too, the story again in Austin's column that said that fighters would try to beat him to Casa Benavides to pay first, for him. And nobody ever was able to do that.
Yeah.
And I think, again, the thing that touched me was the effect he had. Not just boxing, though, right? It's more than that.
Oh, yeah.
As a man, as a person. So guys like that, man, wow. It was just incredible memories that we had. We're going to got some pictures up on the screen of Fidel Maldonado. Let's take a look.
I think that's probably pretty self-evident. Do you remember who you were fighting in the Grand that time?
Amir Imam.
Who?
Amir Imam.
Oh,
That one's Pablo Cano, the one that beat Jorge Linares.
and so this was probably the biggest win of your career?
Probably, yeah, one of them, yeah.
And that's the two of you before the fight?
Weigh-ins, yes, sir.
Yeah.
That was our home nation.
Oh, this was a draw.
When was this fight, Fidel? When was this one?
Like 2 years ago, I think.
I love that picture, man.
2 or 3 years
The
ago.
referee took a point away from him all night long. This other guy was the dirtiest fighter. And because of the point deduction, the fight was a draw. Otherwise, he would have won.
That's one of your more recent fights, Fidel, right?
That was in 2015.
Okay, who are you fighting there?
Amir Imam. I was at the MGM.
Just said you won that one, right?
No, I lost that one. That one, we took that fight we had fought 2 weeks before that, like 2.5 weeks, and it was like a big thing. Like you asked Manuel Naya and my dad, they were calling us in Mexico, telling us not that we weren't gonna fight, that we're gonna fight that card, and then that we were gonna fight, so they kept changing it. And we ended up fighting it, and it ended up being a no contest because that guy was like fighting dirty, and they just called it off. And then from that we went to that. So it was like a 1.5 weeks of training, and we just went in there, and I just went in there, kill or be killed, and ended up getting clipped a couple of times. But I was the first one to ever put him down. He was undefeated Don King fighter.
That's impressive, man. That's impressive. Wait, we got some more. Hang on, I'm sorry.
I just want to point out,
Go ahead, Austin.
well, I was going to say, his street weight is 170 pounds. So Fidel was in the ring with a big guy. This is what,
Pound for pound?
it's hard to read it. But Fidel is number 2 on that list. And I only put, I don't think there's a 6th
Austin
person.
Trout, number 1.
Right,
Fidel's number 2. Josh Pitbull Torres,
3.
number 3. And
Jason Sanchez, 4. And Ronnie Baca, 5, the heavyweight. It's a shame no one knows who Ronnie Baca is.
not the Mongoose.
No,
not
this is the heavyweight.
So, that's a pretty impressive list, Fidel. And, I don't disagree. And I know you asked Austin before who number 1 was. And
Yeah.
you didn't disagree with
I was
Austin
getting a
Trout.
little nervous.
Not at all.
But you know what? I think, too, that for New Mexico boxing, it's an exciting time. Diamond Boy, I mean, he's coming back, too, I think, right?
Oh, yeah, he's coming. He has big things coming. I'm not too sure if he announced it yet, so I'm not going to say nothing. But he has big things coming this year. And possibly be a world champion this year.
Amazing. You're still, you win this fight on, again, Austin said this, high risk, low reward. But after that, we'll see what's next for Fidel Maldonado Jr. I know your father, your trainer, Fidel Maldonado Sr., is, big proponent. When I read, we got to get that belt, So I know that that's your ultimate plan.
Oh, yeah, but for me, I'm just taking it one fight at a time, one day at a time. Because you know what? We don't know what's going to happen. So I'm just taking it. I'm not looking past the 26th. 26th, that's all I'm focused on, and that's all I've been getting ready for, so I'm going to be ready.
I know Austin had some, what we consider some, not softball questions for you. We got about 3 minutes left, Austin, so get them in.
Well, he's answered some of them before I've even asked, but by not looking past them, that's a smart move, because this is a live body you're in the ring with. And even though if you win and you don't get credit for it, people who know boxing will know that you're back. I saw you sparring, he was sparring Saturday with Ziegler, a fighter named Wayne Ziegler, who is undefeated out of Detroit, and Fidel looked pretty sharp. So I can certainly say, without question, he's in shape. And this Ziegler is a tough guy. In fact, it might even be a future opponent for you. So
after a year off, Fidel, I want to ask you, you took a whole year off. You said you changed your diet. There's things you changed in your regimen as far as what you do. What's the difference? It's a long time to take off. It's, are you worried, number one, about any ring rust on Saturday? Are you worried about that? And number two, what did you change that you feel, you don't have to reveal the whole thing, but where are you now as far as coming in January 26th?
Repeat the first one right away. What was the first question?
Where are you as far as, what your training, you changed some things. You've been out for a year. Are you worried about any ring rust at all?
Ring rust? No, not at all. There's the MMA fighter, Dominic Cruz. He says ring rust don't exist. It just exists if you didn't train hard enough. So.
I like that, Austin. Even you've never said that.
No, I have it in my whole body.
So I don't believe that I'm gonna have any ring rust at all. I think I'm gonna look better than ever, honestly.
Number two,
number two, my diet. I changed my diet. I'm vegan now. So
all right, man. All right.
So
does that work for a boxer? I'll ask Austin. I mean,
yeah, I think so.
Okay, no meat then.
No meat, no dairy, no animal products at all.
Got about a minute left, Austin. One last question.
I think he's dead serious about being a vegan, because when I came in the studio, he was eating bark off a tree.
One last one, Austin.
Here's what got Fidel in trouble sometimes. You're a beautiful boxer, but your machoism at times in your career has got you in trouble. You got that under check.
Oh yeah, it's all growing, it's all maturing, and I think I've matured enough for it. So, we're gonna find out Saturday, I guess, right?
Well, one thing I want to give you credit for, it's the most important thing. I think you're a great father.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
That's very important.
That's the most important thing to me. You know what, my girls, all four of them, that's my girl and my kids. Those are the most important things to me.
And you're a Renaissance man with your girl, because she put some real mushy stuff on Facebook.
Okay, Fidel Maldonado, Jr., thanks so much for being our guest. He'll fight Luis Avila on Saturday, Buffalo Thunder, January 26th. For Austin Killeen, producer Josh Brown, Fidel Maldonado Jr., I'm Ed Nunez. Thank you for watching Legacy Boxing Showcase.